Today we will cover a very specific subject about Citadelle gin, is how we use botanicals and why 19 botanicals in Citadelle, including the juniper berries, so juniper berries plus 18. It is sometimes intriguing because you sometimes see more newer gin right now that use a whole array of botanicals, and when you taste it you see more the botanicals than the juniper berries. While I respect this is not Citadelle. This Citadelle is really a classic gin. We work with the juniper berries because we think juniper berries is magical, is the signature of gin. That's the classic gin that brings you all that thirst quenching, refreshing, intense taste of a great gin. So that's very important. The only thing though is that juniper berries tends to be sharp and sometimes one-dimensional. And the great gins of the past actually used the other botanicals not to hide the juniper berries, not at all, to actually underline it, just as a support, a little bit like a stand on which the statue is. And that's the way, it's a technique here we call enhancement. We want to enhance the quality and the complexity, I should say, of the gin. So we use, let me just explain. For example, we use fennel with the juniper berries because it will complete the notes of this freshness, but a little more vegetally. We use a tiny little bit of star anise in such a way that you don't taste it really, but it's there. It's telling you something, a sense of pleasure when you drink it, but it's there. We use a little bit of lemon peel, a little bit of orange peel to add little citrus notes. We use cinnamon. We use a very specific cinnamon. I went and spent quite some time researching cinnamon at the time of harvesting in Vietnam. And when you use fresh cinnamon, it's actually very spicy, it's wonderful, and it works wonders, but in very small quantities, so once again, it's subliminal. And like this, you can uplift the taste and the complexity and the finesse of a gin that's full dimensional. Now, if you look at a bottle in Citadelle, you see all the botanicals that are on the label. One of my assistant distillers here didn't want us to show the recipe, and I felt that could be argued, but to write and to show what's in this gin would be wonderful, because that way, when you're making a gin and tonic, you can actually choose your garnish to echo one of these hidden botanicals that's there. Or if you make a great cocktail, you can actually use one of the ingredients that will echo one of these components of the gin. I call it the body and soul. The soul of that botanical is in the gin, but it's hiding somewhere. And then if you add the botanical itself, or a crème de violette, because we use violet petals and violet roots, you will echo it, and that will be the body of the botanical that you will add that other dimension to it. So that's the potential also that's right there, that's included in Citadelle gin. So it's built one botanical at a time in the way it's researched, because here what you're seeing is we micro distilling every botanical every season of distilling. Remember, Citadelle is distilled, it's a seasonal gin. We distill it in the spring, and every botanical is pre-tested. We choose which farm we are going to buy from every year, depending on what the weather and the care that was given to these botanicals. And the quality of each is very important. For example, these are juniper berries. We want them to be really ripe and well sun-dried. We want no more humidity than 15 to 17%, and we want them to be really flavorful, and that's very, very important, and also full of essential oils. That's important as well. Remember, Citadelle is distilled in an open flame, a naked flame, and and also with the lowest swarm neck to extract a lot of these essential oils that creates that really rich taste experience of a great gin. So that's what we're doing. So we're doing different infusions here, and as they're being done, we micro distill, testing what the product tastes like. And then we choose this, we batch these botanicals, we infuse them in another step that is called the progressive infusion and cold progressive infusion. That's a signature technique of Citadelle. The botanicals are not just thrown in the pot still and distilled like a lot of gins. What we do at Citadelle, it's a cold infusion, a little bit like you have the cold pressing for an olive oil. And in that case, we do a cold infusion one step at a time. Why? Every botanical has different personality, different characteristic, and you cannot treat them equally. Some botanicals need a long time of infusions. Violet petals takes a long time to infuse. It's a very delicate taste. Star anise is like the bully of the bunch. So you have to integrate it at the end. So we do integrate these botanicals one at a time in the course of up to 8 to 10 days. We taste all the time, and that's what I was doing earlier here. We taste as it's being infused, and when it's infused to perfection, this is what it's put back in the pot still and distilled to extract all that essence and distilled on the open flame as we discussed. So it takes a lot of time every year to select all these botanicals, but also the slow infusion, the slow and cold infusion, not boiled, but in a room temperature infusion, and then put in the pot still for making Citadelle gin as you know it.